3 weeks into embryogenesis, long before the brain or lungs are formed, a microscopic cluster of cells begins to divide and pulse. The heart is the very first functional organ to develop in the human body. From that initial spark, it operates entirely on its own, contracting roughly 72 times a minute, every minute for the duration of a human life. Yet for all of its relentless reliability, this exact organ represents our single greatest physical vulnerability. This chart breaks down the global causes of human mortality. Looking at the data, we can see cardiovascular disease easily taking the top position, accounting for a massive 30% of all deaths worldwide. Because this organ operates as the biological engine for our survival, understanding its continuous repetitive function is humanity's most critical medical imperative. For centuries, the medical establishment held deep misconceptions about what the heart actually did. That changed in 1628 when English physician William Harvey published De Motu Cordis, proving through careful observation that the organ operates as a mechanical pump. But identifying it as a pump doesn't explain the mechanics of how it actually moves fluid. The incredibly delicate sequence of electrical and mechanical events required to coordinate a single beat remains widely misunderstood. To truly grasp why this life-sustaining machine fails, we have to slow down time and dissect the exact anatomical sequence of a single heartbeat. The cycle starts at the sinoatrial, or SA node. These cells possess autorhythmicity, generating independent electrical signals through a rapid exchange of sodium, calcium, and potassium ions across their membranes, altering voltage to trigger an action potential. Before a single muscle can contract or a single drop of blood can flow, this invisible chemical spark must fire. Once generated, that electrical signal travels downward from the SA node to a secondary checkpoint, the atrioventricular or AV node. As the charge spreads, the muscle fibers of the upper atria immediately contract, squeezing downward. This squeezing forces deoxygenated blood through the tricuspid valve and oxygenated blood through the mitral valve. This filling phase, diastole, drops blood into the lower ventricles before sealing them shut, physically priming the pump for massive exertion. The electrical signal continues into the Purkinje fibers. These specialized tissues deliver the charge deep into the thick-walled lower ventricles, causing them to forcefully contract. The rising pressure of that contraction forces the atrioventricular valves to slam shut, preventing blood from flowing backward. That physical impact of the doors closing creates the famous lub sound heard through a stethoscope. With the back doors sealed, the blood blasts upward through the aortic and pulmonary valves. When those exit valves quickly snap shut behind the leaving blood, they produce the second sound, the dub. During ejection, the right ventricle pushes deoxygenated blood to the lungs, while the left ventricle blasts oxygenated blood through the aorta. Every second of human consciousness relies on the successful execution of this exact sequence of pressures. To maintain this sequence over a lifetime, the machine has two strict requirements: an unobstructed electrical pathway and a constant supply of fuel delivered to the heart muscle itself via the coronary arteries. If the electrical signal glitches, in conditions known as arrhythmias, the precise rhythm deteriorates. The muscle fibers quiver and spasm chaotically, bringing blood flow to a halt. On the plumbing side, if fatty plaques build up and restrict those coronary arteries, the heart muscle starves for oxygen. This triggers an ischemic event, commonly known as a heart attack. Medical professionals monitor these specific mechanics to prevent death. By reading the voltage peaks on an electrocardiogram, they can pinpoint exactly where the electrical or structural sequence is failing. Clinical heart disease is a specific, measurable failure of structural valves, electrical nodes, or fuel lines within this highly resilient biological engine. For most of human history, we did not view the heart as a machine. The ancient Egyptians believed it was the literal seat of intelligence and emotion, an organ so tied to human morality that it was judged on a scale in the afterlife. This intense cultural obsession with the heart's metaphysical power spanned empires, driving the visceral sacrificial rituals of the Aztecs. The transition from mysticism to science was slow, built on the work of Renaissance anatomists who mapped its physical form, drawing its valves and vessels to uncover its true function. Stripping the heart of its ancient mythology didn't diminish its importance. Recognizing it as a brilliant, vulnerable machine is precisely what has given humanity the power to protect it, repair it, and extend human life.